If you're considering getting one or both of this double-sided tape for clothing and skin, here are the top 3 things you need to consider before you make your purchase. The first is to know which tape provides the strongest all-day hold without peeling or shifting. The second is to know which product removes cleanly without irritating the skin or leaving residue. The third is to know which tape is easier to use and perform better across different fabric types. Alright, so for context, my wife is heading to a wedding, so she bought a dress that requires some tape. So we've been trying different tapes to see which one works best for her. And I'm also doing this video to provide enough information so that you can make the best decision for you. The way we're going to approach this test is that we are going to try each tape on 3 different fabric types. We're going to use it on polyester, jeans, and cotton. We're going to attach the tape to my forearm, and then we're going to apply the fabric to it, and we're going to do a pull test and to see which fabric stays on my skin the longest. And whoever stays the longest will be crowned the victor. Why am I doing it this way? Is because I really want to demonstrate exactly how long you might potentially have this tape last as you use it throughout the day. All right, we're going to go ahead and start with this one. Here we go. Pull test starting now. Okay. What I love about this, and after using it often because I've used it, is that it is actually really strong. Like, for me to allow like this fabric to really go the distance it needs to go, like if I let go of my arm right now, I'm gonna just look at that. I would just pull it across the table. That is how incredible this thing is. I would just pull it across the table because it is really that strong. But for the sake of this test, I'm placing my arm firmly on the table and I'm just strictly pulling to see how far I can go before it comes off. So I am really going for it. All right, that's how long it took this to come off my skin. Now we're jumping into this one. I'm gonna press down firmly, make sure we get it on there. All right, here goes. Now we're going to do the pull test. All right, my arm is on the line. This is where we're starting, and then I'm pulling. Can you see that? That is how strong this thing is. So I could pull it even further. So I am about here when I start to notice it really start to come off the tape. But even that, it hasn't come off the tape, so I'm gonna keep pulling. Okay, I'm gonna pull. I'm gonna say about here. All right, that's how long it took this one to come off my skin when it comes to polyester. Now we're jumping into jeans. All right, now we're pulling. My anticipation and experience is that the jean, because it's a stronger material, pulls faster and sooner, so we stopped right about here. All right, that's how long it took this one to come off my skin with jeans. Now we're jumping into this one. All right, now we're pulling. I am just so amazed by how tough this thing is. I am very amazed. Look at that. It is not giving. It's actually pulling my arm forward. Like, this is incredible. Wow. It starts to give way right about here. All right, and then I'll say, I'm gonna call it right here. There you have it. That's how long it took this one to come off my skin with jeans. Now we're jumping into cotton. Pulling. Yeah, again, the lighter the fabric, the much easier the bond is. Like, I really am pulling for sure. So harder for jeans, but polyester, cotton, anything light fabric, especially dresses like this thing is sticking on, is staying there. All right, that's how long it took this one to come off my skin when it comes to cotton. Jumping into this one. Again, so amazed by how strong this thing is. This is incredible, man. Like, I'm legitimately having to like really hold this arm down on the table so that I don't actually pull it across. But for the sake of the test, we're gonna keep pulling. All right, that's how long it took this one to come off my skin when it comes to cotton. In terms of irritation, in my opinion, not bad at all. And again, another thing to keep in mind, guys, is that I am actively trying to see what the limitations of this thing is. So I'm like putting myself through more than you would on a typical use. All right, so after using and peeling 4 times, this is what you get. In my opinion, this is not bad at all. For the effectiveness of this thing and how well it works and what it offers, this I would, me personally, and also my wife, put up with this level of skin irritation. All right, there is a clear victor for this one across the board with all fabric types. So we're gonna go ahead and crown this one the victory overall.